Welcome. A little bit early tonight, but we're live. Another day in the market. How's everybody doing? Crazy day. Actually a lot to talk about tonight. I mean, not too many charts or different tickers to talk about, but in terms of the overall market and just what's happening with the volatility, we've gotten a lot of different things I can give some updates on. So we're in for a cool stream tonight. So I'm excited. We're going to talk about Bitcoin, Ethereum. After that, we're going to talk about the overall stock market. Then we'll talk about CLOV, Tesla, couple ongoing swings, Fisker. We'll also probably have time for ticker requests tonight. So it's good. Last like 2-3 weeks, I really haven't had time for ticker requests, but this week so far we've been able to do them. So definitely it's good that we can make some time for that. So we will be doing ticker requests tonight. Just want to say that at the start of the stream. And yeah, let's get started with Bitcoin. Let's see what's going on. What's up, Jack, Malik, Tenderfoot, Levi. Sorry if I mispronounced that. Cheddar Freeze, Jace did. Spiderwebs, Zeke, Gold Miner, Steven is in here. How you doing? Jack says, have you noticed Ethereum ascending triangle over this past 6 months? I have not. We can take a look at it when we look at Ethereum though. All right, let's get started. Bitcoin, we talked about this dragon pattern last night. You're kind of testing the supply line right now. You have pretty much confirmed your classic bullish divergence on Bitcoin on the 4 hours. So if it breaks above this supply line, I'd probably use Fibonacci on Bitcoin and target really anywhere within this range between the 382 and the 618. Those are just, I guess, textbook targets for a dragon, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, I think that's what Mitch Ray goes for on supply line breaks. I might be saying that incorrectly, but also cool to see at this 0.382 retrace from this swing high to these swing lows lines up with 59.5k, which is a major level we've been talking about for a while from these lows over here, but even dating back to May, April, and March. So that 59.5k is a big resistance for Bitcoin. So 59.5k resistance, and then support is around 55.6k. So those are your two levels on Bitcoin right now. Chart them if you want, and we'll see which one breaks first. All right, that's Bitcoin, Ethereum. So you said a 6-month ascending triangle. I think you're probably looking at it like this. You'd pretty much have 2 touches on your demand line, 2 on your resistance or upper half of the pattern. I would say it's fine. You could call it an ascending triangle. Maybe you'd prefer one more touch. But yeah, that's probably how it'd look. Let me go back to my previous chart layout. So Ethereum, daily hidden bullish divergence, we've been talking about it all week, is continuing to develop. It's now made a slightly higher low on the daily, pretty much a bullish engulfing candle on the daily. As long as Ethereum holds 39.61, it looks good to me right now. But do keep in mind, it's still testing this previous resistance zone, and it did break under this demand line. That's your Ethereum. And yeah. What's up, Jeff? So let's get started with the overall market. We're gonna go through a couple other charts before we get to like the S&P and the Russell and the NASDAQ. First off, the VIX has now closed 2 days above the 200-day moving average, which is interesting. And remember, down over here, I was saying, this yellow box, I was saying this is where we've been bouncing off of pretty much since April. And we bounced off of it yet again a couple weeks ago, and now we're seeing that continuation. And I'm going to chart another little zone over here. And this has kind of been where you've been pretty much topping out since April. So you're kind of just in this range on the volatility index. Let me make the boxes the same color. Why does that look different? I don't know, whatever. Maybe I could try this. Here, let me just make another one. Probably gonna be the easier way to do it. There we go. So that's your volatility index right there. We're gonna get started with that. Also, the US 10-year is breaking above 1.64. That's a low from 2015. Honestly, I think this goes higher. Not financial advice, and it's not a certainty. And also, I don't really care too much if I'm wrong about this because I don't really trade the 10-year, but obviously it's important to keep a look at it for the market. But this is a pretty real breakout. So I wouldn't be surprised to see it move up to 1.9 in the next couple of months. Again, that's only a probability. We're talking about two simple levels, but you are making higher lows. It's kind of, you know, this rounding out process. It's looking really interesting to me. And then you also have lingering tapering that's soon to begin. Or had the tapering begin in November, or is it going to be December? I can't remember. But that's the US 10-year. And what else? Gold. Whoa, I don't even know how this happened. Gold just been dropping like crazy. Had a nice little breakout in these areas and just came all the way back down to the 200-day moving average. The dollar flying higher and higher. We were talking about all the bullish patterns over here, really just a wedge in the cup and handle, and well, they're playing out. So that's your dollar. And Hang Seng Index up a little bit, Evergrande down a little bit, and futures are flat. So that's what's going on there. Let's go to the S&P chart. And now I'm going to talk about the equity market a little bit more in depth in a second here. Let's relax for a second though. We just got off to a very hot start talking about all these different charts. Let's tone it down for a couple minutes. Make sure to hit that like button if you didn't already. Hit that subscribe button. Alright, seeing some CLOV chatter. Let me read all the CLOV messages in the chat. Malik said CLOV first. We're going to get to CLOV after the market analysis. Jay Stid, so angry with CLOV. Chef says, good evening, go CLOV. A lot of different CLOV messages. We're going to talk about CLOV in a little bit. Let me just briefly touch on it. Sucks what happened in CLOV. I was obviously talking about it a lot for a long time. And I think the biggest, I already talked about this last week, but I think the largest misconception was that I was talking about CLOV because a lot of people think I was just talking about it nonstop for a bunch of different reasons, but really, it really wasn't about me saying, oh my gosh, CLOV's going to the moon. You will never find me saying that on stream. I've never said that in my life. And I've talked about this in the past week. CLOV, I covered CLOV. I'm going to continue covering CLOV to cover CLOV. Just because I'm talking about it because it's in a stream title doesn't mean 100% it's going up or whatever it is. It's just a part of the stream that I mentioned. For example, we've been talking about Fisker for the past year, right? We've looked at Bitcoin every single stream to start off the stream. So there's just a few tickers that we look at pretty much every single night, and CLOV has worked its way into that list, right? I could pretty much say Bitcoin, Fisker, CLOV, and then obviously the S&P 500. We look at those every single night on stream. Just because I look at it every night doesn't mean it's going up for sure the next day or the day after, right? I'm just looking at it to talk about it. I cover it. And that's when you need to be watching the streams to see what my thoughts on it are, right? Because a lot of people just see, oh, CLOV was in his stream title. He must be super bullish that it's going to go up tomorrow to the moon. It's just in the stream title because I want to talk about it, right? So I want to really clear that misconception. I'm obviously going to talk more about CLOV in a little bit when we get over to the chart. And I've never ever received more messages and mentions on Twitter in my life about whether or not I'm in a current, whether I'm personally in something. I've said this since day one. Literally, I was honest since day one that my intentions were I like CLOV long term, but I'm not personally a long term shareholder. I trade CLOV. Okay, I like the company long term. I just haven't created a long term position in it yet. What I've done since January, not June, when all these other people started talking about CLOV because it ran up to $28, and then they all started talking about it at 28. Go back to January, February, we were talking about CLOV when it was IPOC. We had amazing swings on it. So I want to make all that very clear. And for everybody asking me the questions, just like the guy did in the chat right there, are you in CLOV? Like I'm always saying, I'm trading in and out of CLOV. I'm in CLOV probably more often than I'm not in CLOV. For the past 4 or 5 months, I've been in CLOV a ton, in and out trading it. But I don't hold it no matter what, you know? When CLOV hit the stop of that swing, I was out of CLOV, right? I was out of CLOV when it hit the stop of the swing, which was probably around the upper $6 level, probably a little bit above 650-ish. I got out then. I traded it actually last Friday and lost money on CLOV on Friday. And actually, believe it or not, I put a little position in CLOV today. So I got back in CLOV a little bit today. So there, if you want to know what I'm in, there you go. It just really frustrates me that people always ask like, oh, are you in CLOV? Like, why do you care? Don't care about what I'm in. That just, I don't know, it's just something that really frustrates me. So I want to just start off with that. I'm in CLOV right now. Maybe I get out of it tomorrow. Maybe I don't. I mean, please just stop asking that. Like, honestly, truthfully, I'm in CLOV right now. I was not in CLOV yesterday. I just want to start the stream with that because I don't want to keep trying to, like, I'm not ignoring the question. It's just so many people ask it that it gets annoying. All right, so let's talk about the market. We're going to get back to CLOV in a little bit. We got 27 people in here. What's going on with the overall stock market? Crazy day. Today I had a red day, but Jeff says it, put in your bio, in CLOV, not in CLOV. It's a good idea. Today I had a red day, but if you compare where I was at like 10:30, 11 a.m. to compare to where it was at the close, crazy difference. So I was down a lot in the morning, and then a little bit of a nice afternoon push really helped me out. I went from a insanely disaster of a day to just a slight red day. Really nothing too crazy at all. So definitely relieved there. But what's going on with the market and all that, we're going to start off with the daily chart of the S&P 500 and nothing much. You had a bearish engulfing candle yesterday. You sold off quite a bit more this morning, and then you rallied towards the end of the day. That's pretty much the S&P 500 on the daily. There's not much to talk about it apart from that. We go down to lower time frames. Let me actually go to the SPY because I have that charted out a bit more. So these are your 4-hour levels on the SPY. And if we take a look at this 4-hour candle, you did have a pretty much a bullish engulfing candle on the 4-hour. So you have a daily, I don't know if I'd call that a pin bar. I don't really like calling things pin bars at the top of trend. I'm not saying this is the top, but I'm just saying that it's towards the top price that the S&P has ever seen. So I prefer like calling things pin bars like in areas like this and stuff, or like this. But kind of the same structure of a candle. And that's your 4-hour and daily. If we go over to the 1-hour though, this is where we could kind of break things down a lot further. All right. We talked about these two blue zones last night on stream. Where did today start? Today's the 23rd on this candle right here. So interesting. You started off by breaking under this blue zone for the first time since pretty much November 10th. So in a couple of weeks, pretty much 2 weeks. For the first time in 2 weeks, you broke under this little blue inflection zone that it was holding as support. And you sold off to another level, which was pretty much around 465.19. It dropped down to this level, which was a low from a couple candles over here and resistance on a couple candles over here. And that's where it was pretty much trying to base out for a few hours. And then towards the end of the day, you had a nice little rally, not only back into this little blue zone, but back above it. So now you're kind of on the 1-hour chart. You're just in between these little two make or break areas for the S&P 500. I'm going to delete this demand line now because it's kind of irrelevant. But another thing I do want to note, from this swing low to this swing high, you literally, like, it's so perfect that I'm pretty sure there was probably institutions with their algos just, I don't know, placing orders there. I don't know that for sure. It's just what I would figure. Unless literally everybody in the market was looking at the S&P 500 chart and using Fibonacci's, which I don't think that's probably what happened, but literally tapped the 786 and had that was the low of the day. 786 retrace perfectly was the low of the day for the S&P 500. And then you kind of have a 3 white soldiers candle pattern on the 1-hour. So on the 1-hour, if 466 can hold tomorrow, 470 could eventually be retested just within this range. Now, if we go down a little bit to lower time frames, you can see this. I was talking about this on the 1-hour charts, the 465.19 level. You can see a little bit more clear over here. It was resistance here. If I extend, you can see it was support here, and it was support again. So that's another new zone you can chart on the S&P 500. 15-minute chart, a little bit of a deep crab. Kind of didn't reverse at the 1618. Just went lower. Got pretty close to the 2618 from B to D, and that's just kind of where it went or started reversing. And then finally, the 5-minute chart. You broke out of a descending broadening wedge pretty much over here. You had a nice little move, and then you created this little range. At one point, it also looked like a triangle pattern, which had a fake out to the downside, which we're actually going to talk about a little bit later. But it really just turned into a range. Even had like a little downsloping channel inside the range that it broke out of. So you had a couple different things forming over here in the afternoon. And it eventually had a very textbook breakout. I mean, look at this. Again, this is a 5-minute chart. Please keep that in mind. But you were in this range. Look what happened. Like, it's just so cool to see how technical this is. We already talked about how it perfectly bounced off the 786 right over here. Look at this. Within your range you created on the 5-minute chart, a partial decline, right? Which means you hit the top of the range and bears were not able to get it back down to the bottom of the range. So you had a partial decline, which gave it a 70% chance of a breakout right over here. It actually pushed above the VWAP and held above the VWAP for the first time of the day, really. I mean, at least since the 10 o'clock candle. And then what happened? It broke out of this range, right? On increasing volume, large green candle, and then it spent like the next hour back testing what was once a resistance as a support before going higher into the close. Like, it was so cool. I was watching this chart the whole entire day. There was a premium trade on it today, which is pretty much what I was watching the whole day, but also most stocks were just kind of doing nothing except following the indices today, at least from what I was watching. So I was just watching the S&P like all of today, and it was just so fun for me. Like, I was actually really enjoying watching how technical everything was today on the 5-minute chart with all of the volatility. Just so cool to see how technical it was. So I wanted to just quickly recap that. We're actually probably going to come back to this a little bit later when I do the recap of the premium trade. That's your SPY chart. If we go over to the Russell 2000, a couple of things I want to talk about. You have a doji candle on the daily, so this is for all you small cap traders. Doji candle on the daily, there's some potential for hidden bullish divergence, not really developing for right now. And you're still just kind of within this previous resistance zone. We'll see if it can eventually flip it into a support and get out of here. Really, all I'm looking for on the IWM is to do this before doing this. I would just like this to flip into support before it breaks under it and then it turns back into resistance. So that's the simplest way to view the Russell 2000. We can go down to lower time frames. On the 4-hour, you have some hidden bullish divergence developing. I also charted this. It's not really hit. It's not even close to the 886, and you almost had a 4-hour bullish engulfing candle. But if the IWM were to fall down to 226, you would have a bullish bound on the 4-hour. I just charted that ahead of time. It's not a real harmonic for right now. I mean, it might never be a real harmonic, but it is in the bat action magnet move, if I said that correctly. I learned it through Mitch Ray's stream. I think Scott Carney talks about it, where once a bat breaks under the B point, so pretty much right when it was over here and it broke under this B point, there's a high probability, or at least a higher probability, that it does eventually drop down to the 886. So that's probably the only contradicting variable on the IWM, but again, it's not even at the PCC yet, so it's not even a real pattern for right now. And then the 1-hour chart found support at 229.44. If you go and watch Sunday's stream, I'm not going to pull up the clip. You go and watch Sunday's stream. I literally said on Sunday's stream, if it didn't hold like this upper 233 area, then I will be looking at 229, 230 for it to bounce. And that's pretty much what we saw today. We talked about that on Sunday night. So that's really where it bounced. I actually do have some 1-hour classic bullish divergence still. And then if we go down to even lower time frames, a couple other stuff. What else am I going to talk about? What chart is it on? So 15-minute, I have a little bit of a downsloping channel charted over here, and then the 5-minute, just like the S&P. It was just beautiful to watch this all day. So this was the morning. Yeah, so in the morning, the Russell had a nice little open, but it pretty much just retested a previous support as a resistance. Then it flushed. It just absolutely, I mean, from the high of the morning to the low, 2% drop in like an hour. That's horrible for small caps. This is what really crushed me on this morning. I was down so much when the Russell was right over here. And just like the SPY, decided to create this little range. So just started going range bound, range bound, range bound. Eventually was able to break over here, broke above the VWAP for the first time since like the first hour of the day. And yeah, had a nice little move. It actually back tested the VWAP twice as support after breaking above it, right over here and right over here, and then it flew up to close at the 0.382 from this high to this low, and that's pretty much where the Russell 2000 closed at. Really nice volume into the close as well. So that's the Russell 2000. ARK ETF, I mean, did I not say this? I said when the ARK was breaking 113 that it's probably headed to 106. We talked about this. They're just historically, I literally talked about this, I think like 2 nights ago, where it's straight down, straight up, straight down, straight up, straight down, straight up. It broke 113, high probability that it was going to drop to 106. It hit 106 and even went down to 103-ish today before closing around 105. So, you know, it did break this support intraday, but it closed around this historical support area. It was even a resistance at one point. I can make some circles here so you could see a little bit clearer. Resistance over here, support over here, support over here, support over here. We'll see what it acts like right now. Let's now do a spotlight search. So ARK ETF, I mean, there's not much to talk about. It was a failed inverse head and shoulders, which we talked about a couple nights ago. Hidden bearish divergence developed on the daily. It's at a make or break area. And then moving on to the NASDAQ, you got a doji candle on the daily. We go over to the 4-hour chart. Not quite a bullish engulfing candle, didn't really get high enough. And then on the 4-hour, you have a bullish shark, pretty much. And it technically did double bottom at the PCC. Again, it could make like a more clear double bottom and do something like this, or just completely fail, who knows. But you had one bounce off the 91% retrace, and then another bounce off the 91% retrace. So we go on to the 5-minute, you can see it pretty much double bottomed intraday before going higher. So that was that. I think I was looking at something else. I was also watching this level on the NASDAQ today, which was this little gap fill. It went a little bit under it, honestly, so it didn't really matter too much. But 16,035 resistance on the NASDAQ, support around 15.5K, and that's the market coverage for the night. So hopefully that was insightful. That's what we got. All right, keep hitting the like button if you didn't already. Hit the subscribe button. Check out the links in the description. Make sure to watch the free course. It's 3.5 hours long. It's on my channel. Join the Discord. Cheddar Freeze just dropped the link in the chat. That's where everything is apart from the stream. And yeah, I'm gonna bring up a couple other things before we talk about CLOV next. So let me just move over to the CLOV chart. Let me read the chat for a second. Let me talk about a couple other things. All right. Stephen M says 30%, 30 minutes. Yeah, the SPY trade. Cheddar Free says Biden announced today that the U.S. will release 50 million barrels of oil from its strategic reserves. Worth watching how that moves energy and oil. The new swing is actually an energy one, or an energy stock, and it was up 3% today, which was nice to see, apart from the market being red. I mean, the S&P ended up closing a little bit green, but the NASDAQ and the ARK and the Russell were red. Neutron says looks like CLOV, or no, it says like CLOV might be good for your IRA, but it's just another stock put you can make. Guys is making a phone call. Hang tight. Okay. Levi, please just let me know if I'm saying that wrong. It says started the day down 13%, held SPY calls, and finished up 1%. Lindsay Glenn says it wasn't TA Champ. You know what moved the SPY today? Don't deny it. I know you're joking, but I'm not getting the joke. What's the joke that moved the SPY today? Yeah, we got some jazz playing. Let's leave I like the jeans company. Perfect. Okay. Unless I'm also pronouncing the jeans company wrong, then oh gosh, we got a problem. Oh, the put orders. Yeah, I forgot about that. What you did was pretty similar to what Medi was doing with CLOV. So, yeah, the calls went up because you got puts again. That's a joke. And then Medi used to get, I think, puts, and then our CLOV calls would go up again as a joke. In premium, for those of you that are not in premium, it's joking right now. There's a lot of inside jokes in premium. It's actually really funny. Even JG has the baby sharks. I'm definitely forgetting a few. I can't think of them off the top of my head, but it's a good time. What's up, Thomas? All right, we can talk about CLOV now. So daily chart. I mean, what do you want me to talk about? Find me a pattern to talk about, and I'll talk about it. But there isn't a pattern on the daily. There isn't a divergence on the daily. And you are oversold, so that's the one thing you can talk about on the daily. You're pretty much at the same exact RSI level you were at your previous all-time low in March. So pretty much mean, we could leave that we could leave this level on the RSI. It is what it is. Let me make sure it's only on the daily chart. There we go. So yeah, let me actually take a look at this again. Nah. So yeah, I mean, I'm trying to find things on daily to talk about. I can't. Inside candle on the 4 hour. So today, CLOV. Let's see if it popped up on TradingView. Clover Health Investments closed share offering with about 300 million in gross proceeds. CLOV said Tuesday that it closed on November 22nd. It's underwritten public offering of shares of Class A common stock for about 300 million. The stock was almost 4% lower in afternoon trading, but on that news, you did get a very, very quick pop up to about 535. So I'm gonna here. Let's just break it down very simply. There's not much at all to talk about on CLOV above the 1 hour chart. Really, all I can talk about is under the 1 hour chart. And keep in mind, when we're talking about technicals under the 1 hour chart, one, they have less probability because each candle has less data, and then two, they can play out very, very quick and only lead to small moves. But on the other hand, those lower time frames create your larger time frames, and it's kind of this weird situation where it's like, you know, your lower time frames, your tick by tick movement creates your larger time frames in your daily candles, but at the same time, those larger time frames and how they look can influence how the lower time frames are acting. For example, if you have classic bearish divergence on the daily, that can make you fall on lower time frames. So it's, I don't know, it's a crazy. I think me and you, Trump Flux Labs, have talked about this in a Discord call before, but we could look at the 5-minute chart, whatever. I mean, I'm gonna look at the 30-minute chart. You could chart this on the 30-minute, but if we just look at the 30-minute, very, very simple. You're in a very clear downsloping channel. This is a real pattern on the 30-minute. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 touches, perfect. And then after the 5th touch, you're breaking out of this downsloping channel. So, I mean, this is about a week worth of data for CLOV. So it's a meaningful amount of data. It's just a lower time frame, but you are breaking out of a downsloping channel on the 30-minute. You can't even see this on the daily. So again, please keep that in mind. You did break out of that, and you were actually also trading within this little range. You could see it more clearly on the 5-minute, very similar to how the IWM and the SPY were trading this range, like I showed you earlier in the stream. It was trading this range and it also broke that, and it broke the VWAP towards the end of the day. So you had the pop on the offering close news right over here, just went back into the range, continued being range bound, and then right before the close, had this little nice move up over the VWAP on pretty much the second highest volume of the day, apart from that offering close news. And then I think after hours it was up. Let me see. After hours it was up another 1%. To 535. So yeah, like I said towards the beginning of the stream, I wasn't in CLOV calls for pretty much all of this, but I ended up grabbing a few CLOV calls right around over here, as I saw was testing that VWAP. So yeah, CLOV lower time frames looking really interesting. Again, you know, hopefully I don't have another offering or something, but yeah, we'll see if this can play out between either tomorrow or Friday. But again, you have to keep in mind, we have Fed minutes tomorrow, which I actually forgot to bring up. So tomorrow, it's literally the entire stream and I forgot to bring this up, but tomorrow, shout out to Trader Freeze for sharing the economic calendar in the Discord. Tomorrow we have core durable goods at 8:30 a.m., quarter over quarter GDP at 8:30 a.m., initial jobless claims at 8:30 a.m., new home sales at 10 a.m., personal spending at 10 a.m., crude oil inventories at 10:30 a.m., and then FOMC minutes at 2 p.m. So tomorrow is like just a crazy day for the market, or just the economy in general. Now, again, we could just get very flat numbers that just really are matching expectations, but yeah, a lot of different things. Might see a lot of different movements tomorrow, but yeah, that's CLOV. I'll talk about the 2 ongoing swings for a second here, and then I'll talk about a couple other tickers before we do ticker requests. But let me read the chat again. Oh my gosh. All right. For the first time in multiple months, Guy in Hat has typed in the chat, throwing a little dab emoji into the chat. It's awesome to have Guy in Hat back. For those of you who are here from, January to probably I'd say May or June, you know who Guy in Hat is, and he's just been a key figure in the free trading movement. One of the day ones. He's had some insane swings. My second most profitable trade ever was ABC from Guy in Hat, right after QS, and then I'd say probably Fisker was third. But yeah, the legend has returned. He's in the YouTube chat. He's back in the Discord. It's amazing. Got some. Yeah, let's drop some crabs and hats in the chat for Guy in Hat. I feel like I need to buy a top hat because of all the emojis. So yeah, glad to see you in the chat. Guy in Hat is glad to be back. We're all glad to have you back. So yeah. Let's talk about, there's two ongoing swings right now. First off, VLO. It was up 3% today. Market was down for the most part. And nice to see this bouncing up today. Not much of a technical change. It pretty much went up towards the 200-day moving average, pulled back a little bit at that level. I just want to see this hold 69. If that doesn't hold, I want to see it hold 68. You have another support at 60. I'm gonna chart this support. See it from this low, this high, and it's also a gap fill from right over here. So I'd say this, we could even put a little bit of a zone here. Okay, this is the support area you want to hold. Let me move this a little bit lower so it's not blocked. All right, that's the support area you want to hold on the new swing VLO. And then VIPS, the long-term 2-year bullish bat pattern got crushed on earnings. So just like CLOV, another example of fundamentals or catalysts or earnings overriding technicals. The trade was going well, it was in profit until earnings, and the sole reason for VIPS dropping was earnings, or maybe even the market falling too, but it really wasn't a technical thing. It was just a situation where technicals got overridden. So VLO is currently the only, I believe, currently the only ongoing non-premium swing. And I would say I want to start putting out a lot of new swings for non-premium members, but again, I'm never going to force that. If they show up, I'll start putting some out. And I'm definitely, if I see some swingable charts, I probably won't share them in premium for until I start sharing a few for non-premium, because I know right now, there's one non-premium swing on the sheet, and then there's 10 premium swings on the sheet. And that's not because I decided to make 10 premium swings and only one non-premium. It's just because a lot of the non-premium ones stopped out. Unfortunately, we had 5 non-premium swings stop out last week, so it's just unfortunate. And yeah, whenever new swings show up, I'll try and get the first few out for non-premium members as well, just because there really aren't any lately. But that's VLO. Now we're gonna move on to the featured tickers section of the stream. I'm gonna be talking about, we'll talk about Fisker first, then we're gonna talk about MU, and then we're gonna talk about Tesla. After I talk about Fisker, MU, and Tesla, actually no, we're gonna do that a little bit later. First of all, we already looked at the S&P earlier, but I'm gonna break down a premium day trade today. So first off, I'm going to break down a premium day trade, then or just a trade, and then I'm going to talk about Tesla, MU, and Fisker, and then after that we're going to do take a request. But yeah, SPY, I believe I shared an alert for SPY calls somewhere around right over here with premium members today. Now this was an interesting one. I had to mark these calls red on the sheet, and I'll explain why in a little bit. Let me see if I can pull up timestamps.
Listen to me.
And I could pull up the Discord and everything in a second here as well. Okay. 35. Alright, I got it. So I alerted SPY calls around over here. They dropped a little bit really quickly, and then they went back up. And in these areas, I think the calls were up like 15% or something. So at one point the calls were profitable. Steven, and not only that, but for example, I alerted them here. So from this entry over here to right up here, if you were to have entered right here, you'd be up around 15% right over here. However, if you waited till this dip and then you took profits up here, you could have had over 20%, maybe a 30% profit trade. For example, Steven M shared on Twitter that he pretty much caught these lows and was able to take profits up over here. And yeah, so this was really, it really wasn't a failed trade, but really how I run the premium sheet is whenever I share an alert, if the alert goes down 20% first, I mark it as red. If it goes up 20% first, I mark it as green. And it works well a lot of the time, but there's going to be certain situations where you just get screwed over a little bit. We just had a little bit of a rough push down over here. So really, the calls were up probably 15% in this area, probably down around 15 to 20% here, and then over here they were down just like, I think like 25 to 30%. But here's the thing. So even if you didn't, cost average on this dip and take profits over here or over here, when it was breaking down from a little bit of a triangle over here, you could see it like this. So I noticed, let me make this neon green so you can see it a little bit clearer. So I noticed this triangle developing intraday, and I'm sure millions, not millions, I don't know, hundreds of thousands of that might be too much. Thousands of traders around the world were watching this symmetrical triangle today on SPY. It was the clearest pattern to spot. And I noticed that it was breaking down. However, it was breaking down the lowest volume of the day. So I was a little bit frustrated because it was pretty clear that it was breaking down, and it was going to make me have to mark the calls as red on the sheet. But it was just such low volume that I literally said in chat, like, low volume is really something to think about though. And even in the actual premium chat, I said, I don't really want to scroll up, but let's see if I can find it. Probably was around like, I don't know. There we go. I said lowest volume. So when it was breaking down right over here, I said the lowest volume of the day though could be a fake out waiting for confirmation. We'll just have to wait for more data. I said that in chat, and yeah, just like I thought, the calls were down over 20%. So I have rules for the sheet. I had to follow them. And then the calls ripped, broke the range. Like we already talked about in the beginning of the stream, they ripped. So I don't know, a little bit frustrating. I had to mark these as red because they were profitable here, profitable here, profitable here, and profitable here. Literally the only time that they got screwed over was right over here when it was the lowest volume of the day. And I even said it could be a fake out. It's the lowest volume of the day, but I have to follow rules on the sheet. And a lot of people ask me this, especially just for the swings, like, why do I not mark certain swings when they're like 2 pennies away from the target as a winning trade, and vice versa, maybe for stops as well. And the reason is, if I'm gonna have a public sheet that I share with everybody, it has to be as truthful as possible. It doesn't matter. And again, as a trader, it should matter what the variables are, but when it comes to sharing your results publicly, you can't just call some things winners and something losers based on what makes convenience for you. So I just have to have some sort of a direct rule for the sheet so that people can't come and say, oh, you're just calling things winners on your weekly sheet, so you can get your win rate up and stuff like that. And now, since I don't do that, I can always say nope every single time, no matter what the variables on the chart are. I mark it on the sheet based on what I initially had planned. So yeah, that was kind of the recap. It was technically a failed trade, but it was a very profitable trade in many instances, as you can see with those white circles. But even if you're not in premium, or if you are in premium, hopefully you got some education from this, just so you can see what I was thinking throughout all of this. And then just so you can see, trying to delete all these little lines and stuff. There we go. So just so you could see how I really was like saying everything I was just saying on the stream. I mean, I could just pull it up right now. So I was literally saying it's the lowest volume of the day though, could be a fake out. You could see it right over here. So I said waiting for confirmation, and then even in the options updates channel, gotta scroll up here. I mean, look, this is just for one trade, by the way, okay? Go find me anybody else who for one trade shares these many charts, all right? I just want to say that. I mean, just from an educational standpoint, this was all just one trade, all of this, okay? I want to make that clear. But, so these were like everything I was thinking going into the calls, and at one point they were up 10%, I think even up to like 15% at one point. Had a nice little one hour bullish pin bar. Like I was breaking down everything. And then this pattern presented itself, and I saw that it was breaking down on the lowest volume of the day. And I said, following the rules on the sheet, I have to mark them as red. They were profitable in a few different scenarios, like I just showed you all. It broke down with confirmation, which means the candles did close under that demand line. but on low volume, like I also said in the chat, like I just showed you. And I said that low volume at 136, literally at the same exact time as I was sending this message, that was 135. I said that low volume really is something to think about though. And I was just watching, like it just felt so bad. Like I was sitting in this chair just watching, like I'm gonna have to really mark these calls as right on the sheet. And in my head, I'm like, this thing's probably just gonna shoot right back up. But I had to do what I had to do. And I was even sharing more charts afterwards. Like just after I already said I had to mark them red because they were down more than 20%. I was still just continuing to share charts because the technicals really didn't change. And then you see this little bounce again. So again, you know, you had that fake out and it just led to a bounce and then just went higher and higher. And then towards the end of the day, they were up 30% and then they were up 50% at one point. So like I was saying earlier, they were red, but I mean, you know, but still on the week, it's technically a green week, despite being a negative win rate. Because those SPY calls yesterday were pretty much like a potential 60% profit. But that's the day trade recap. Wanted to bring that up for a little bit. Let's get back over to TradingView. So now we're going to talk about, so we just talked about the premium day trade recap. I want to, like I said a couple weeks ago, I'm going to start doing that on stream every single night just because it's a good way for me to be transparent with how premium trades are going. And then also it's an amazing way for me to give education on day trading and short-term trades because the stream has always been swing trader oriented. But really over the past few months, day trades and just short-term trades have really been my bread and butter. And I don't want to be kind of strictly only talking about swings. You know, if there's a way for me to make money in the market, I want to share that to everybody on the stream, whether you're in premium or not, for education. But yeah, we're going to talk about Tesla, MU, and Fisker after this. Speaking about premium, and we just did that day trade recap. Prices go up on Sunday forever. It's the first link in the description if you want to get in before the prices go up. Swing trades, options, weekly watch lists, algorithm alerts, SPY trading ticks, and a chat full of inside jokes. It's only $1 a day right now, but I can't say that starting next week, which honestly kind of gets me a little bit upset because it's obviously, it just sounds cool to say $1 a day, but next week it's not going to be $1 a day. It's going to be going up to 40 and then 35-month renewal, so it's technically more than $1 a day, slightly. I don't know, maybe I'll have to say, like, I don't even know what the math on that is, but that's one thing. First link in the description. Another thing, TradingView Black Friday sale has begun. It ends in a few days, and if you want to get 60% off TradingView with a free month for free and up to $30 off using my referral code, that's the second link in the description. They do not sponsor me. It is a referral link. You get $30 off. I get $30 off. It's a win-win. And obviously you're literally looking at TradingView right now on the stream. I use it every single night. I use it every single day. I wish they would sponsor me. They just haven't sponsored me. Fortunate. But yeah, Black Friday sale. If you want my referral link to get another up to $30 off on top of the 60% sale and a free month off, like it's insane. Black Friday sale last year was the first time I ever got a pro plan on TradingView. So this is pretty much the best time of year to get a pro TradingView plan. That's the second link in the description. And then finally, before we talk about Tesla, MU, and Fisker, tomorrow night on stream, we are going to attempt to raise it'll pop up. There we go. We're going to try and raise $500 to donate food. It's Thanksgiving, so obviously it makes sense. So tomorrow night's stream will be a charity stream. And I want to make this very, very clear ahead of time. There's going to be a very specific link that you need to donate to. I'm not going to share it right now because I don't want people to start donating right now. The whole point is to try and raise some money during the stream. But tomorrow night on stream, do not just go to my tip page and donate there. If you donate to my tip page tomorrow night on stream, I'm keeping the money and I don't want to keep the money. So tomorrow night on stream, I'm going to make the pinned comment and the first link in the description a direct link to the charity tip page, not my personal tip page. Please don't. We can't do that for tax reasons. And also it's just extra work and it just makes it a lot easier. Because Streamlabs has a really cool thing where like you could directly donate to charities through another Streamlabs link. So I just want to make that super clear so there's no confusion tomorrow. And then people are tipping me and then I have to go and move the money over. And then like, it's just, please remember tomorrow night, do not tip me tomorrow night. Do not tip me. Tip the charity or donate to the charity tomorrow night. But I just want to make that insanely clear because I could already tell ahead of time some people might just not think about it, and then they tip me, and then it just creates a whole entire issue throughout the stream. But I will, yeah, I'll remind that. Thank you, Trader Freeze. I'll repeat that multiple times tomorrow night on stream, and it will be the actual charity link, not my tip link, will be the pinned chat tomorrow night on stream, and it'll be the first link in the description. And honestly, I'm just gonna take my personal tip link out of the description tomorrow night on stream. So nobody's tipping me personally tomorrow night on stream. A little bit ironic, I just got a tip right now. Let's do that. Levi with the $5 super chat says, when you get to take a request, could you look at BTG? I'll look at it right now. Thank you again for the 5. Let's get some vibes in the chat for Levi. First tip of the night. So make sure to show up tomorrow night on stream. If you could donate anything to help give meals to families in this country, I'd really appreciate it. So I'm really, really excited for tomorrow night on stream. And then another thing I want to say, there's just so many things going on this week. That's why I literally had to make a schedule. That's my pinned tweet on Twitter. Another thing, I'm really, really excited. Like, I can't even explain how excited I am for it. I really hope there's a good show up. I think the last workshop, only a few people showed up. But on Saturday, it's a mega workshop. It's not even close to the last 3 or 4 workshops I had in the Discord. This is like on a whole different level, okay? It's a workshop on short-term options. I'm going to be talking all about lottos. We had a 5,000% profit trade on MU last Friday in premium. I'm going to be talking all about lottos and my full process. And it's not just me this time, okay? It's not just me. We have, I don't know if the 4th one is confirmed yet. I don't want to pull up my Discord. All right. Okay, we have 100% 3 speakers confirmed apart from me. We might have 4 speakers apart from me, which would be 5 speakers in total. So we're going to have, including me, we're going to have 3 to 5 speakers. So it's not just me talking for like an hour in the workshop. I have some really, 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 really smart people that I've been able to, or I've been, what's the right word to use? That have been kind enough. I've been able to reach out to them, and they've been kind enough to do this for all of you. So yeah, I'm really excited. One of them is Neutron Flux Labs. One of them is 5150. Neutron's going to be talking about Thinkorswim scripts and orders with options. And then 5150 is going to be talking about option spreads. Then we also have Keanu Trades, who's on Twitter. You can go follow him on Twitter at Keanu. What's his Twitter handle? Let me make sure I'm saying it correctly so it's not the wrong person. Twitter is at Keanu Trades. I could just pull up his Twitter right now. So Keanu Trades will also be speaking in the workshop, or at the workshop. I don't know how the best way to put it. And he's going to be talking about short time frame patterns, so like mini bull flags and wedges and stuff like that. So we have, just a recap, 5150 talking about spreads, Neutron Flux Labs talking about orders and scripts, and then Keanu Trey's going to be talking about short-term patterns that he looks for, and he's been crushing it on Tesla options in the past month. So those are other people talking, and then it's obviously going to be me. I'm going to have like a 45-minute segment. It's probably going to be like 2 hours long. It's like a mega, like if you're interested in options and you want to learn options, and you saw that 5,000% trade last week, and again, that's a very, very rare trade, but you just want to learn how to grow consistent profits with options, I need you to show up, okay? It's completely free. You do not need to pay $1 for any of our segments. All of us will be showing up, and it's for all of you, okay? It's for the free trading movement. Just be there, 2 p.m. EST on Saturday. All you have to do is join the Discord. The link's in the description. Can one of the mods drop the Discord link in the chat again, please? Just join the Discord and join this channel. It's literally at the top of the Discord. I don't want to use community voice because it's all the way, where is it? It's all the way at the bottom. So I created a new voice channel. It's going to be in this channel. It's already at the top of the Discord. It's just waiting for all of you to join it. So be here on Saturday at 2 p.m. EST. All right. Those are all the plugs of the stream. I'm not plugging anymore for the rest of the stream. Now we're just going to talk about charts again. Okay. I don't think I've had any tea tonight. Yeah, it's full. So I have cold tea. Thank you, Medi and Cheddar, for dropping the Discord link. So let's get started with Tesla. I want to talk about, right now I'm going to talk about, actually, no, we're going to talk about BTG first. Then we're going to talk about Tesla, Micron, and Fisker. And then after we talk about those tickers, we're going to do ticker requests. All right, so keep hitting that like button, hit that subscribe button. First, let's look at BTG for Levi. All right. So I already have this charted out somewhat. So kind of talking in hindsight here, but it was in a falling wedge. It broke out of the falling wedge. It pretty much went to a golden retrace and started pulling back. Also, it was above the 200-day moving average for a little bit. Now it's back under it. It was also above this 429 historical level for a little bit. Now it's back under it. So what it looks like was it had a nice run after breakout, and it just really failed to hold above the 200-day moving average and this key level, and now it's back under it. So in my opinion, not financial advice, I'm not a huge fan of it under 429. That's only 10 cents above. If this thing can get 10 cents higher and hold it, then I like it better. However, if it can't get it back above and hold above 429, you got a little bit of support at $4, 398. It's even a high from over here. But apart from that support, I mean, 327 would be the more major level. So that's how I'm looking at it right now. If we do a little bit more of like a long-term analysis on this, I can take this wedge off the chart. And then we can chart this, which would pretty much be a downsloping channel that it broke out of. And that's really, I mean, that's just another way to look at it. I don't know, maybe it's a harmonic too. We can take a look at it. And we're just talking about context here. We'll use that. Need to raise this up a little bit. So, pretty much, if you look at it like this, it's not a bat because you can get down to an 886, but it was close to a bat that got down to a 786. But you could also maybe try and look at it like a cipher, but I don't think you're going to get a deep enough retrace here, so I don't think that's going to work. No, it's not deep enough for a cipher on the B point. Any other? Actually, no, it could be a Gartley. Hold up. This is a sick one. Oh, there we go. Oh, it's, oh my gosh, it's a textbook Gartley. Not textbook. All right, this C point's like 2% off, but apart from that, you do have a Gartley here. So apart from this, I think you want a 382 minimum on the C point, but apart from that, you got a pretty much a 618 from X to B and pretty much a 786 from X to D. So you also have that playing out. So you just had a really, like, look how technical this area was. You have a Gartley PCC there. I showed you the other wedge that was right here. Let me just, got to undo a lot of stuff right now. Okay, so you had that wedge. It was literally at the apex of the wedge right there. You had this bullish Gartley, okay? And it was a historical ice line, 327. It was this resistance over here and resistance over here. Like, look how technical this area was. Like, in terms of what I look for on an edge, this was like the primed area. I wish I would have seen this chart right over here. It didn't have textbook divergence, but if you ignore these little two islands, it kind of had classic bullish divergence. Like, you have a Gartley PCZ, a falling wedge, an ice line, and divergence. Like, that's what I look for on swings. It did have it over here, and I think that's why it went up here. Of course, it could have been catalyst as well. Even better if there was. But it just made a crazy move, and now it's pulling back. So, you know, that's kind of my analysis on it. Hopefully that helps out. Thank you again for the $5 tip, Levi. And that is BTG. Let's move on to Tesla. On the daily, I'm talking about Tesla because I looked at the end of the day today. I picked up a couple of lottos on Tesla. So I picked up a little bit of lottos on Tesla towards the close today. I'm not telling you to do the same thing. They're lottos. On the daily, however, you have a bearish engulfing candle, so that's pretty much something you want to keep in mind. However, you do have the chance of hitting bullish divergence on the daily. On the 4-hour, not much to talk about. But if you go down to this 30-minute chart, very interesting. You have a cup and handle. It just broke out of the handle. Let me take this. We're not doing the charity stream tonight, so let me take out that donation thing. It broke out of this handle right over here, pretty much on your final half an hour of the day, with hidden bullish divergence on the oscillators. And the context is, I do prefer handles only going down to a 50% retrace, but I'm not going to complain about any sort of a retrace in which it literally taps the 618 golden retrace perfectly and then bounces. So you also have that. So I'm really keeping a close eye on Tesla short term. Obviously have to see if the market will allow for it to do things. But this is kind of the main thing I'm watching tomorrow on Tesla. And I already have a small position going into tomorrow. Apart from that, Micron, we've been covering it pretty frequently lately on stream. Cheddar Freeze brought it up a few weeks ago. I had it in a premium watch list probably a month ago at this point. Really nice price action lately. It was a 5,000% profit trade for premium members last Friday, right over here on that day, with options, of course. And today didn't really do much, but it is holding above 83. If it can continue to hold above 83, I mean, there's not much resistance till 95. You know. Straight up, straight down, straight up, straight down, straight up, straight down between 85 or 83 and 95. Now it's back above it. So if MU can hold 83, that could be interesting, not financial advice. And then let's talk about Fisker before we do take requests. Not much to talk about. It did break that demand line on the daily. It's just trying to hold on to this 1940 support. It was a low from November 18th and a high, roughly a high from August 10th, and roughly a high, or pretty much the exact high from June 9th, and roughly a low from March 5th. So you could see why this 1940 level is important. So that's what Fisker's been doing. And that's pretty much everything I wanted to talk about tonight on stream. So that gives us a nice little chunk of time to do ticker requests. But let me read the chat first. Don't drop tickets in the chat just yet. Let's see if I missed anything. Hit the like button if you didn't already, and hit that subscribe button. This is the second to last stream of the week. I'm not streaming on Thursday. Obviously, I never stream on Fridays. So tomorrow night's the last stream of the week. So just wanted to let everybody know that as well. Tomorrow night's the charity stream and the final stream of the week. Will it be able to be rewashed? I have to work. All right, that's actually the second most frequent question I've gotten asked this week. So the number one question I've been asked this week on Twitter and Discord and in the stream chat is, are you in CLOV? The second question I've been asked most is the workshop going to be recorded? I still haven't decided. So many people have asked, and that obviously means there's a lot of people who might just not be able to make it at that time on Saturday and still just really want to watch it. So yeah, I am leaning toward, at this point, I'm leaning towards, the thing is, I don't want to say it right now. I feel like if I say it, then just a lot of people won't show up because then they're gonna know it's going to be recorded. But it is what it is, I guess. I'm leaning, I can't say 100% I'm going to record it, but as of right now, just based on how many people have asked me for it, I think a lot of people are just really interested in it and just might not be able to make it. So I'm going to put it like this. I'm going to try my best to record the workshop on Saturday, and I'll make it a YouTube video. But again, that doesn't mean, oh, he's recording it, I don't have to show up. Please, if you're there. Actually, I mean, there's a couple other things I could do. I might actually, I don't know, maybe we could do a little bit of a giveaway during the workshop or something, like a premium membership or something. Maybe that could help out, because I just really want people to show up. We have multiple speakers. I'm going to have a long segment about lottos. It's going to be amazing. So I'm going to try my best to record it for those of you who can't make it. But if you can make it, please don't just not make it because it's going to be recorded. Show up if you can, and have your cameras on, because again, it's a workshop, so it's not just like for people talking the whole time and all of you are just listening. It's like, you know, it's very direct. All of you are going to, hopefully a lot of people have their cameras on, and there's a lot of questions and answers going on. You know, it should really be just like a fun environment, because if it's just like us four talking for the whole time, it gets a little bit boring for the speakers. So I really hope that we do have a lot of people participating and talking, cameras on and everything like that. Seek for Bleak says day traded MU shares yesterday was a nice call. And then Guy in Hat says, did we talk about the potential double bottom at the PCZ of a slightly janky butterfly on Bitcoin 1 hour? What's Guy in Hat up to right now? Double bottom of a PCZ of a butterfly. Is it this? I think it's this. Yeah, it's not really at the 1618, but I decided to bottom out twice at the 1.50 retrace. Unless I'm just not looking at that the right way. But yeah, 55.6k is the support I'd like to see Bitcoin hold. So that's Bitcoin right there. So yeah, we covered a lot so far. Keep hitting the like button. Let's try and get up to 40 likes. And And let's do take request for the rest of the stream. If you want me to take a look at it, take or drop it in the chat. Nothing I say is financial advice. Do not request anything up over 30% today. Do not request anything that IPO within the last month, and do not request any OTCs. All right. All right, let's get started with these. I'm gonna look at UPS first for Guy in Hat. Watching the flag, yep. So Guy in Hat is watching this on UPS right now. And it's got some potential hidden bullish divergence on the daily. And honestly, this could be looked at like a cup and handle as well. You know, that flag could be your handle. You just add a little bit more context to it. So kind of like a cup and handle on UPS, break above 219, and I think that's all-time highs. That could be crazy. Looks like it is all-time highs, yeah. Good eye, mate. EH, hit the PCZ of a shark, double bottomed at it, and just decided to go sideways. So for right now, EH is just in a range between $21 and $29. It's just really not doing much. So until it breaks one way or the other, I could see it just, you know, being range bound. It is closer to the bottom of the range than the top of the range. Wish, lowest close of all time on Wish. I'm genuinely surprised. We did talk about this triangle over here, and I was hoping it would break up, but it broke down. I actually lost a little bit of money on Wish in these areas, but I did get out like pretty much like right over here. For those of you who remember when I was talking about it right here. Yeah, it broke down from this triangle. It's just selling off. I mean, there isn't really much I can do. Just making lower lows. Like honestly, at this point, I would just like to see Wish start making higher lows for me to be a little bit more confident in it. You know, I actually like that. I know a lot of people just hate Wish fundamentally. I don't think they're a horrible company. Let me also make this clear. I don't know too much about them fundamentally, but just in terms of what I know about their business model, I don't think they're the next Amazon or anything, but I do think that they have the potential for growth. You know, in e-com in general, there's just always going to be potential for growth, in my opinion. Well, I mean, at least for the next couple of decades. Who knows what medium for shopping we're using in 50 years, but I don't know. I just don't know, you know, exactly what's led to this move. But they could figure their stuff out. You never know. There just isn't much I can do from a technical standpoint. I mean, I don't even know if I can find any harmonics here. I don't see any large enough moves to really look at it. So Coke, potential inverse head and shoulders. I'd say the neckline would pretty much be something like this. Support around 55. We got a 200-day moving average at 54. So I would just like to see Coke hold above this 54 to 55 area. Okay, I would just like to see it hold this zone. If not, could head back down to like 52-ish. So I'm gonna chart out a couple other levels there. So that's Coke right there. Lucid, wow, that's crazy. Remember that time when we were, I know Mitch Ray always says remember that time, so copying him a little bit right there, or exactly copying him, but remember that time when we were talking about how important of a breakout this was, when I literally said word for word, don't be surprised if it goes to 40s or 50s. Remember that time? Well, it did. Very, very quickly. Honestly, quicker than I expected. And now it's just, I don't know, it just went crazy. You know, these are the areas that I use my technical analysis. After stuff like this, it's like I just wait until there's new variables. At this point, I can see it going either way. You do have a little bit of voice crack there. You do have a little bit of classic bearish divergence on the daily RSI, and I just call this like an upsloping channel. It's not even really a wedge, honestly. I just look at it like that. Well, you do have some bearish divergence on the RSIs. You're making higher highs on price. I can chart this, but lower highs on the relative strength index. So I just call it an upsloping channel for right now. NEGG. I like that it's trying to reclaim 1668. That's actually a really big level historically. And it is quite a choppy chart, but the next two big levels I see is 2152, and then after that 2539. Okay. Not much of a pattern, close to an inverse head and shoulders, but the right shoulder is not really too clear. You can clearly see a left shoulder and a head, but I don't know about a right shoulder for right now. Again, that's not even really a real pattern until it breaks out, but yeah, that's really all I got for that one. DraftKings, there's not much I can do here. DraftKings, Peloton, PayPal, these ones have just been falling off a cliff. I would just like to see higher lows and higher highs, you know. Same thing for CLOV. Just all these different stocks that have just been nonstop dropping for the past few months. You just want to see some sort of confirmation that the trend is changing, because when you have a stock selling off like this, one, it creates a lot of bag holders who want to cut their losses on every single move up. And then two, and this is mainly speaking for stocks with dilution, like when you have an increased amount of shares, if I'm incorrect, please let me know, but it takes a lot more buying pressure to bring that price back up, right? And again, I don't even know if DraftKings had an offering. I'm just saying that for CLOV, but like, you know, just for these stocks that have just been getting crushed, it's like, yeah, from a fundamental standpoint, you're getting a valuation on paper that's maybe a perceived value that's better, but it's also from a technical standpoint, when will other people start seeing perceived value in a stock? And that's the whole entire thing about all-time highs versus all-time lows. Technically, all-time lows is on paper, by valuation, a better deal than buying in at all-time highs. But the way that a lot of market participants trade is they get more bullish when a stock's at all-time highs, and they're bearish when a stock's at all-time lows, based on the price action that led up before that. And then also, whenever you have a chart that's straight up or straight down, like how we're looking at Loose, that was kind of straight up, and how we're looking at this, which is kind of straight down, it's harder to find good areas to manage risk, and not even just from a technical standpoint, from a risk management standpoint. You know, looking at this, a lot of people would say it's trying to catch a falling knife. And you know, you could chart levels. That's really all you could do on stuff like this. But those are the levels I have on DraftKings. And again, please don't think that I'm whoever requested DraftKings. I'm not like trying to rant. It's just because you requested DraftKings. I know you're just requesting it. I just want to make that. This chart just reminded me about a few other stocks that I wanted to bring up for education. I do that all the time on stream. Somebody just says a simple message, and then I start going on a rant, and it makes it seem like I'm yelling at someone. Please never think I'm yelling at anybody, unless I am. If I am, you'll know I'm yelling at you, but I'm not yelling at you. So yeah, I really got to control my, like, I don't know. Whenever I get like into a rant, it's like I just probably look like I'm angry, but that's just kind of how I like. Whenever I'm talking about like multiple things at the same time, I just like start like going off. Like I don't even think about like how my voice is or like whatever. I just try and get the point across. It's just a weird way for me to educate. I'm sorry. Oh no, I wasn't saying DraftKings did an offering. I don't even know if they did or not. I was just bringing it up because, you know, it's a stock that's been falling. So I'll just bring up a few different points, like you know, offerings, just all-time lows, or any form of dilution or whatever it is. You know, whenever you have such a flip in terms of price action, it could make it a lot harder to move back up. But again, you are oversold on the daily for DraftKings, so that's another thing to look at. $35 is pretty much a low from October of 2020. So you do have variables here. If 35 doesn't hold, I can see it heading down to 30. If 35 does hold, you got resistance at 39. So yeah, I actually like DraftKings as a company. Just sucks to see this stock. Look, there's a lot of companies I like as a company. PayPal I like as a company. We've seen what happened to PayPal. DraftKings, CLOV, you know, you always have to remember, just because you like a company fundamentally does not 100% mean that everybody else in the world will trade that company's stock in the way you want them to, right? And you could be the correct one. You could be right about the company long term. You really have to also start thinking, what do other people think about the stock that I'm bullish on or bearish on, right? So as a trader, you have to not only understand what your personal thesis is, but you also have to understand what the overall collective market thesis is, because unfortunately, no matter what your opinion is, and even if you're right or wrong, your opinion and your conviction can't move the price, unless you're Elon Musk. But if you're not Elon Musk, then you really can't control the price, or at least, you know, and again, I'm not trying to talk about manipulation right here. I'm just saying in general, from a psychological standpoint, you having an opinion and a thesis isn't going to make that thesis or opinion right. You timing that opinion and thesis is going to make that opinion and thesis profitable. Does that make sense? That's what I'm trying to get at. So I kind of went on like a long rant there, but hopefully it was somewhat educational. I don't know. CNFR. This whole entire area has been support. This is between 217 and 256. That's your support, and then resistance is kind of $4 to $5. So it's just in a range for right now, or it's the bottom of the range for right now. UWMC, another company I like fundamentally, but unfortunately a lot of other people don't like it. A lot of these SPACs, wow, it's tough to see, honestly. I would just call this like a whole entire chart like a falling wedge, like that. You have a couple fake outs that you have to account for, like that, this, which both seem earnings related somewhat, but yeah, kind of like a falling wedge, like the whole entire chart. You touched on supply line, like 3 or 4 in the demand line. That's how I'd look at that. And then CLF, I like the higher low that's trying to put in. I don't know if I can figure out a pattern here, but chart levels. That. Got the main line and then some resistances. I don't know if I call it an ascending triangle. You do have, technically you have enough touches to call it an ascending triangle. You have 2 on the supply line, and then you have 1, 2, 3 on the demand line. So you have 5 touches, but I don't know. It's just like your supply line touches are only in this area. Typically on a ascending triangle, you want to look more like something like this, right? A little bit more filled out, but yeah. That's what I got in CLF. Futures down a little bit, down about 0.1%. Okay, so it was Zeke requested drafting. So yeah, Zeke, that rant was not for you. You literally just typed the ticker into the chat. It was just me thinking of other stuff to bring up while I was looking at that chart. Watching for CLF to break 23 and get confirmation holding above it. 23. Yeah, that's also a little short-term level. I mean, if we chart that, I have more like 23, 24. We could see from these candle highs, these candle lows, these candle highs, this candle low, and then today's high. Yeah, 23, 24 is another level I'd be watching. Zeke says CV always ranting all my thoughts. So yeah. Whatever's already in the chat, I'll look at. But no more ticker requests. If it's already in the chat above Mehdi's last message, I'll look at it. But keep hitting that like button. Let's try and get to 40 likes. If you didn't hit the like button already, hit the subscribe button as well if you didn't. We're falling a little bit short of my goal for the end of the year. Unfortunately, the goal was 4,000. I don't know if we're gonna be able to get there unless like something crazy happens in December. But it's not looking great if I'm being honest. How many subs are we at? We are at 3677, so we're about 323 away, if I did that math correctly. I'm so bad at math. But yeah, if you're not subscribed, you could help us get there a little sooner. Okay. So where did I CLF? Where was that? Oh, there we go. There's a harmonic on Wish. It's a deep failure. You just had to. Microsoft. Not a certainty getting to 4K by December 31st is probably is not too high based on I think right now, I don't even know. I think we're doing like 150 subs a month. So we pretty much need to like double our current rate of new subs next month for us to hit 4K. Palantir, oh gosh, no. Another company I like a lot. It's just crazy. A lot of these growth stocks and mid caps I actually am a fan of fundamentally. You're just getting beaten down, and I'm sure a lot of you can relate. It like I'm not in Palantir, I'm not in DraftKings, like I'm not in UWMC, but just as somebody who's traded all these companies in the past and like knows them somewhat, I don't know a lot of them deep. Like I haven't done deep dives into any of them, but like I know what the companies are to a certain extent. Like it just sucks to see the price action. Like I don't know. I'm sure a lot of you can relate. Palantir, it's under a very important level right now. This $21 2090 level. I mean, you could call it just a zone, which technically it's still kind of testing. If you include this wick over here, it's still kind of just testing it, and that zone pretty much goes down pretty much like 20 to 21. Doesn't hold this zone, then there's no support on the daily till 17. 17's this low from May 11th and this high for November 12th. So it's a make or break area. Hopefully we can get back to 21. If not, 17 is possible. If it does reclaim 21, then 2270 is your next resistance. DNA was down 10% today. There's not a lot I can do on this chart. Really, I mean, I could just chart like this level, which was a couple candle lows over here and candle lows recently. And then I guess you got a little bit of resistance around 15 to 16 bucks. That's really all I can do there. FUBO 4 hour, close to a tweezer bottom, but I think you needed to get a little bit higher on that candle. Doji candle on the daily, testing this support back from April of this year and kind of May. That breaks, then 1759 is next support. If it holds, 2287 is your resistance. And then Microsoft, bearish engulfing candle yesterday, doji candle today. It looks just like a lot of other tech stocks in the NASDAQ. I think I did chart the lower time frames. Yeah, so look at this. We looked at this the last time we requested Microsoft. I did bring up this little level. I charted this very recently. And look where it did bounce off today. So it did bounce off the same area that was support over here. If this doesn't hold, then the next level I'd be watching is this area from these lows and these lows. If it does hold this and you got a gap fill on Microsoft at 339.62-ish, also a little bit of resistance around 338 right over here. So kind of like this is like your resistance zone, right? So you got a couple different zones, right? Got a resistance zone here, support zone here, and then kind of in between them you have another zone. So that's like the lower time frame chart for Microsoft. Still the chance for potential hidden bullish divergence should the MACD cross over to green above the price of $321. Okay, if I looked at that correctly. And yeah. Maddie says, hey man, you gotta love these prices. Honestly, from just a valuation like there's the thing is like from a valuation standpoint, I see a lot of deals in the market right now. I'm not going to lie. However, I'm you all know this. I mean, it's not too hard to figure this out. I'm not the best fundamental guy. I mean, I'm just not. There's a lot of things I still have yet to learn because I've spent the last 2 to 3 years just so focused on technicals that I understand. I'm not going to say roughly, but I understand the basics of a lot of different fundamentals. But I'm not an expert. Like I don't even want to call myself an expert in technicals either. But I'm like probably 10 to 15 times more fluent with technicals and fundamentals. I have an above average understanding of fundamentals, but not like for technicals. It's what I've dedicated my life to. So I definitely want to continue to keep learning more and more about fundamentals. But like just from what I currently know about fundamentals, I see a couple things that I think are deals in the market around. But the thing is, like these certain stocks that I like fundamentally and I think are good deals, their technicals just are horrible right now. which is the issue that I'm kind of seeing right now in terms of like, yeah, I mean, I'd love to open up like a new long-term account and just load up on all of these different stocks I like fundamentally that are just getting beaten down and just cost average into them. But like a lot of these ones, they're just breaking major historical supports on the daily with like hidden bearish divergence, and it's like the technical guy in me is like, what are you doing? But then like the other side of me where it's like, not everything's about technicals. It's like, I mean, these companies, like, I don't know, it's just crazy. But at the same time, it could just be relative, because a lot of these same companies that I still liked fundamentally a year ago were just on paper overvalued a year ago, because like everything was just shooting up in the growth mid-cap market. So it's like this weird thing that I've been thinking about over the past, like, really since the IWM started pulling back, like over here. I've just been seeing a few different things that are like, wow, I can't even believe some of these stocks are at these prices. Like I would have not believed you if you would have told me like in February is when things started falling. If you would have told me in January that some of these stocks are at their current prices, I would call you not crazy, because I always understand anything's possible, but I'd probably call you very smart for being able to predict that, because I certainly was not. So yeah, that's just something I've definitely been thinking about recently. Guy in Haas is not a fundamental guy, but definitely a mental guy. Yeah. Have a good one, Chatter Freeze, if you're still here. One more like to hit 40 likes. So yeah, just some final reminders. Hit the like button if you didn't. Hit the subscribe button if you didn't. And premium prices go up on Sunday forever. If you want to join for $1 a day, this is the last week you'll ever have to do so. That's the first link in the description if you want to get in before the prices go up on Sunday. TradingView has a Black Friday sale up to 60% off with the month free, with up to another $30 off, like a triple deal if you use my referral link in the description. It's the second link in the description. Also, come back tomorrow night, watch the stream. We're going to be donating money to help feed families in America. Tomorrow night, we're going to attempt to raise $500 live tomorrow night. I'll explain it a little bit further at the start of tomorrow night's stream. Just another reminder ahead of time, do not send tips to my personal tip page tomorrow night. I'll give you all a special link to tip to tomorrow night that's directly like going to the charity, so I don't have to like take the tips and then take it to my bank and then tip or then send a donation myself, which is what I did last year. It's just a very direct thing. It's just much easier. And also, like, I'll be able to track it live on stream with doing that as well, because Streamlabs has like a widget for it, so it's just a lot easier. So yeah, and make sure to, if you're free, oh my gosh, we just got like 5 more likes right there. Thank you. If you're free, make sure to not only join the Discord, the link is in the description as well, but to join the workshop on Saturday at 2 p.m. EST. It's completely free. There's going to be 3 to 5 speakers, and it'll be fun. Okay, it's going to be all about options, spreads, and Greeks, and orders, and scripts, and patterns, and risk management. Like, if you've really been wanting to get into options, or if you're already in options and you want to learn even more, for example, 5150 is going to be talking about spreads on Saturday. I don't know too much about spreads, so I'm going to actually be learning myself during the workshop. So all you got to do is literally join the Discord and click on this channel at 2 p.m. EST on Saturday. So be there, and I'll see you for the final stream of the night tomorrow night, the charity stream, the the Thanksgiving Eve stream. Good luck trading in the market tomorrow, and have a good night. If you didn't watch the free course on my channel, that link's also in the description. I think I forgot to mention that. So yeah, I'll see you tomorrow night. All right, peace out.